You hear the term data scientist thrown around all the time, right? It's been called one of the most crucial jobs of our time. But what does a data scientist actually do? Well, in this explainer, we're going to crack open their playbook and really get into what it takes to thrive in this field.
And it's no surprise this role gets so much hype. I mean, just look at this number. By 2022, the global market for data science platforms was projected to rocket past $128 billion. A number that big, it screams one thing, and one thing only.
And it's this. Pretty much every company out there wants to be driven by data. The ambition is definitely there. A report back in 2017 found that a massive 85% of companies were trying to put data at the very heart of their operations. But, there's a huge difference between wanting to be data-driven and actually pulling it off.
And that's the real problem, isn't it? It's not like we have a shortage of information. Heck, we're practically drowning in data. The real trick, the challenge, is figuring out how to turn all that raw data into useful, practical insights that can actually help you make better decisions. And this is where our hero steps onto the scene.
Yep, this is the modern data scientist's job. They're that essential bridge, the person who can take that flood of information and turn it into real, tangible value.
So that brings us to the big question, the reason we're all here. We get why data scientists are so important, but what does it actually take to be one of the best? What's inside that playbook?
Okay, let's start at the beginning, with the foundation. These are the skills you just can't skip. The hard skills, the technical toolkit that every single data scientist absolutely needs to have ready to go.
First on the list, statistical thinking. And I really love how this is framed. It's not just about crunching numbers. It's an art and a science. It's about having the intuition to know exactly which algorithm to pull out for a specific problem. And, maybe even more importantly, understanding why that's the right choice. This is the absolute soul of their work.
Next up, you've got to have technical acumen. This is the roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty part of the job. We're talking about writing code to build everything from data pipelines to interactive dashboards. And, crucially, it's about having the skill to roll your own solution when the off-the-shelf stuff just isn't going to cut it. And believe me, that toolkit is huge. It's like a giant treasure chest of programming languages and platforms. You can see some of the big names here. Python and R are the kings of analysis. SQL is absolutely essential for grabbing data from databases. And then you have amazing visualization tools like Tableau. But here's the catch. Those technical skills, they'll get you in the door. But to go from being a good data scientist to a truly elite one, well, you need something more. You need a whole other set of skills. Let's just call them what they are, superpowers.
And this really sets up the whole idea perfectly. If every data scientist knows the stats and the tech, what is it that separates the absolute best from the rest of the pack? Spoiler, it's not learning another programming language.
It all starts with communication. A truly elite data scientist can sit down and explain a super complex model to an engineer, and in the next meeting use a simple metaphor to explain its business impact to the CEO. It's all about storytelling, whether you're giving a presentation, writing a report, or building a really compelling data visualization.
The next superpower is just pure, unfiltered curiosity. The best data scientists, they aren't just happy to answer the questions they're given. No, they're obsessed with digging deeper to find even better, more powerful questions to ask in the first place.
Then you have creativity, and I just love this definition. Having an odd relationship with the word no. This isn't about being able to paint. It's about a relentless problem-solving attitude. It's that when someone says something is impossible, the creative data scientist kind of gets annoyed and immediately starts thinking of ways to go around it, over it, or straight through it.
And last but not least, there's grit. That's that inner fire that keeps them pushing forward when a model fails for the 10th time or a project hits a dead end. And here's the genius part. Grit is what allows them to see those setbacks not as failures, but as new design restrictions. It's just a new part of the puzzle to solve. It's what keeps them and their teams moving forward.
Okay, so we've got the technical toolkit and we've got the superpowers. So let's see how this all fits together in the day-to-day grind and talk about some of the very real dangers that come along with the job. So what does a typical day look like? Well, it often follows this cycle. It kicks off with pulling in a bunch of raw data. And I cannot stress this enough, that data is never clean. A huge part of a data scientist's life is just spent cleaning, fixing, and merging data. It's only after all that hard work that they can get to the fun stuff, the analysis and modeling that eventually leads to sharing those amazing insights.
But you gotta remember, every single project is like walking a tightrope.
On one side, you have the incredible promise of turning data into game-changing information. But on the other side, you have a whole bunch of dangers that can send the entire project crashing down.
And these risks are no joke. We're talking about serious stuff like data theft or violating privacy laws. But they can also be more mundane, like just running out of budget. And then you've got the internal traps, using the wrong kind of analysis, or the classic, starting with bad, low-quality data, which, of course, just gives you garbage insights.
So, when you put it all together, what's the secret to success? It's this beautiful combination of technical mastery, the coding, the stats, the tools, and a really deep human understanding. You know, the communication, the curiosity, the grit. You absolutely positively cannot have one without the other.
So in the end, the playbook for a modern data scientist isn't just some checklist of technical skills. It's really a way of thinking. The data is out there, and it's full of clues. But those clues are completely worthless without a curious mind asking the right questions. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Do you have the curiosity to ask?